Welcome. I am Rebecca Michael, and
No.
yes.
You gotta do that over again.
No.
You chose this short, easy way.
Yes, I did. Say your name, man.
I thought you were about to say fool. State your name, fool. So the longer that I wait, the longer it prolongs your introduction, right?
Yes. And then we get crickets.
And I'm Daniel Ratner.
And this is the Real Empowerment Podcast. Clearly, today we are a little bit on the, I don't even know what to even call it.
Exactly.
Yes. It's this whatever happened.
That happened.
There's no name. Maybe one of our listeners will tell us the name of what they want to call this.
Listeners, tell us the name of what you
The empty space.
That part.
Anyway, we have a guest here today that came to us through an informational session.
Yeah.
Through the center, and so we wanted to bring her in and talk to us about this program that she runs and get all the details, especially for people who, like you, don't drive.
Hey, damn, that was deep. You went. Hey, you're gonna have to edit that one. You went pretty deep, pretty fast. That was fast.
Yes, this is
She's gonna tell me that I can drive.
Okay. We'll see about that.
I'm sure a lot of people say the same thing before they speak to her.
Mm-hmm. And then the struggle is real when she has to tell you, I don't think so.
Yeah, that's the hard part.
Nice try.
She's not going to tell me that today.
Oh, I think she will.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
There's hope.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
so,
we'll let you live in that way.
Without further ado.
Terri.
Oh, my goodness. Hello. My name is Terri Cassidy. And I run the Fitness to Drive program with Health Promotion Partners. Okay. So driving is the big topic. And yes, just based on your little discussion so far, I really like to be in the role of providing hope more so than taking it away.
See, I told you.
Yeah, I'm not so much.
I had a feeling.
I just go straight to, clearly.
Yeah. She's like, hey, Daniel, guess what?
Pain point.
You didn't remember today. You can't drive, and guess what we're talking about? Driving.
Yeah. So let's just get into it. Let's find out if you can drive or not.
Oh boy!
Right. Give it to me straight, Doc. I can take it.
Are you sure?
No, I'm going to cry under the table afterwards.
All right. We'll just make sure that Keegan turns your mic off.
All right. I want to be like, can I get a second opinion? Daniel, you're blind.
Yeah, you can't drive. Yes.
Okay. So how did you get into this profession of... So first, let me ask, your role. Are you like a professional driving instructor?
Good question.
Can I make up like a really cool name?
Sure, I'd like to hear it.
I can't.
I'll give you one. So my background is as an occupational therapist. So that's really where I'm coming to. The driving piece is really fits in so much with what you guys do. I feel like is really about independence, connection. So as an OT, my career has been about helping people live the lives that they want to live, get back to after injury or illness. Usually I was hospital-based for a long time, so seeing people kind of right after something traumatic happened, getting back to things that they want to do. And then we got to a point where, okay, people are getting back home. They're doing really well.
Sure.
But people don't want to just sit at home necessarily. Like their whole reason of getting better isn't just to be able to sit at home.
Go do things. Go
and so
live their
really
life.
expanding that to engagement in the community.
Sure.
And driving is a primary way, not the only way, of doing that in our society. So really through OT, through the need that I was seeing with my clients, there was nowhere within this community to go for an evaluation for driving. People were going up to Denver. So I was with Penrose Hospital at the time, and I was able to start the driving program there.
Okay.
And did that for about 8 years, and then they closed that program, and so now I'm doing it independently.
Nice. So with the driving program, I'm just thinking about, you come in after an injury. So does it have to be a particular disability or injury or accident that they have to recover from? Is it primarily brain injuries, or is it a mobility disability that you evaluate? Is it all of them?
Pretty broad.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So I do, and that's part of what I love about what I do is work with people of all ages, pretty much. I mean, I would say age 15 and up for
Okay.
driving permit reasons.
Sure.
But I do see people across the age spectrum and really across the ability spectrum for a variety of reasons. So
Okay.
most often if I'm working with a new driver, which may be a teen or maybe somebody in their early 20s who's never driven, that's usually because of a disability.
Okay.
So that might be somebody, it could be more of a physical disability, spina bifida, cerebral palsy,
Okay.
or something like bilateral amputation. It could be very much just physical.
Sure.
Or it could be somebody with autism. And so there's some reason that individual is not able to go through a general ed driver education program.
Sure.
They have some special need in regard to learning to drive.
Sure.
And so that's kind of how they end up, hopefully, to me, but a lot of people still don't know that our program exists. So I
Right,
appreciate
right.
getting to talk about it.
Yeah.
I do see a lot of older adults as well, and that could be after an injury. The greatest proportion of people I see, I guess the most common diagnosis is stroke.
Okay.
And as you're probably well aware, that's not just older adults,
No.
So I see individuals after stroke and a lot of people after brain injury of all ages.
So like an acquired disability, like an acquired
Yes.
brain injury. So the stroke or, a car accident, you name it.
Exactly. And then I do see people who maybe fit into this category I'm going to call well elderly,
Okay.
but maybe have an early dementia diagnosis or like early beginning
Okay.
dementia, mild cognitive impairment, something where in that case it's usually more the family or the physician
That is asking
They're
for
already
information.
driving. There's someone saying, I want to just make sure. Let's do a checkup, a driving checkup in a sense, and make sure that they should still be driving.
Sure.
So kind of that whole range.
That makes sense.
Cool. So I heard that long list of disabilities that you could offer your help to.
But
This is that crickets moment.
I'm like, are you trying to build
Are
suspense
we
here?
getting personal here?
I'm like,
Just a little personal.
I'm
Is
just
there
a little
any
worried.
room for people with low vision that I could probably pass a driver's test, but I just need to know what's on it first.
so you can memorize it.
So-
Exactly.
yes.
You got it. Stop giving out the secret.
Yes, I do see individuals with low vision. And
Okay.
one key is that I would work, usually the referral. So for everybody I see, I do need a referral from their physician.
Okay.
Physician or optometrist. So if it
Okay.
is a vision diagnosis, it would be from the optometrist
Oh,
usually.
I'm out.
Okay. And there we go.
And that's
Optometrist
really
will laugh at me.
Dreams dash.
well, and that is a screening factor. I will say, I do want that, particularly for low vision, that optometrist, because so let's talk about vision.
Okay.
In order to have a license, there are vision requirements to get a permit. They're pretty straightforward. It's 20/40 vision in at least one eye, peripheral fields to 50 degrees, or total of 120 degrees peripheral fields. And that can be overturned. So basically, I see plenty of people who have vision of 20/50 for whatever reason, and their optometrist can sign the form and say, yeah, they're okay. They didn't pass the test at the DMV, but they're still safe, based on either their own assessment or sending them to come see me.
Okay.
But then there are people whose vision is worse than, let's say, 20/40,
Oh, yeah.
20/50.
Yep.
I know them.
And
You're sitting right next to me.
and I will get those. So in town here, it would be from a low vision specialist, the referral. So
Okay.
Dr. Theeney is somebody, and I'm not sure how much of that he's doing currently.
Sure.
But there are a couple other optometrists that are focusing on low vision in town here, and sometimes from Denver and other parts of the state, because this is the only driving program, OT driving program in southern Colorado. So I've
Oh.
seen individuals from Durango,
Okay.
from
So you get referrals
Pueblo.
from what, like Monument South or?
pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I find that people in areas, so let's say Pueblo and South and East, who've never had a driving program, they don't end up getting referred because people just don't even
know about it.
It's an option. So that's part of my goal in this coming year is to really address more of the Southern Colorado need for people to know that there is some options out there.
Sure.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
So in the vision piece, often it's related to bioptics. Okay. So somebody might come and the optometrist will already have prescribed a bioptic lens. Okay. So for those of you listening, if you're not familiar with that, it's like a little telescopic lens. It's not in your direct line of sight, so you would have your carrier lenses or your glasses on, and then this kind of little telescope mounted to the glasses frame so that the individual's using the regular glasses when they're driving, but to look at things that really need more acuity, you dip your head and look through the telescope to read a street sign.
It's almost similar to like bifocals, but it's kind of within the glass. It's like a separate piece. It's like above, or
and it magnifies way more.
Like super huge.
Really?
Yeah.
You have some?
Heck no.
Oh, okay. Tried it?
Yeah, I tried it, but just trying it the first time, you don't get it the first time.
Gotcha.
Like it's like bifocals, like you're saying. Like
you have to practice and get used to it.
And you really have to get used to it. It can be kind of, for someone such as myself, it could be dangerous.
Sure.
If I were to practice with those on the road, because if I take my eyes off of the road to kind of look through some bifocals, it's a good chance I'm going to hit something.
Gotcha. Okay.
I appreciate your perspective on that, because we do often... And I know, like, the individuals I've worked with that they're eye doctors up at Anschutz Medical Center, they have occupational therapists who work with that person, not in the car. So, because oftentimes they're students, they're using the bifocal for things in addition to driving. Right. So they will start with walking and like looking to be able to see the features of somebody's face, or you know. But it is a multitasking piece.
Oh, okay.
It is pretty interesting, I think, in terms of the research around visual acuity in driving. You know, that's every state has a visual acuity requirement.
Yeah. Right.
But a lot of the research is showing it's not the best predictor of a crash.
No.
You know?
Not at all.
There's a lot of other things. Even vision-wise, contrast sensitivity has been shown to be much more of a predictor of a crash. Yeah. And I would say that kind of peripheral awareness.
Right.
And so that's where... Not every state allows bioptic driving, but Colorado does. And the individuals that I've driven with who are using bioptics have done great because they're able to see cars. Yeah, they're able to like
they see the lines,
determine enough. So it really needs to be where the bioptic is just to help with some of the navigation, to read maybe the sign on the side, maybe the speed limit sign. Certainly a street sign.
Little puppy in the middle of the road.
Yeah, let's not hit the dogs.
That would be harder. That is a concern.
Please, let's not hit the dogs.
So I think in terms of Colorado, and I looked this up this morning, you need to have the carrier lens, so the main glasses, you need to be able to see 2100 with the carrier lens.
Okay.
Missed it by 1 point.
And, darn it.
Of course you did.
Bioptic, you have to get to 2040 with using the bioptic lens. So there still are, there still are some guidelines there.
Right.
Gotcha. And the Colorado Low Vision Association, part of the Optometric Association, has been active with helping.
That doesn't surprise me.
Stuff.
But there's a chance if your vision is kind of low. She's saying there might be hope. Right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I mean, I've driven with some individuals.
This is my silence. As I give you the side eye. Like, what?
For people. for other people.
She's
maybe
not
in this
for
room.
Daniel. She's being very broad.
Everyone contact Terri. She says if you are blind, she can help you get your license.
Not so much.
Not so
Please
much?
don't.
That leads us to the automated vehicles discussion, which would be a lovely discussion to have when that happens.
If it happens.
And you've crashed 50 times. You cannot drive an actual car.
Yeah, I've never crashed. Ever. In my illegal driving. Shout out to the DMV.
In which state?
North Carolina. Oh. I didn't say anything.
Exactly. But yeah, let's be careful because they may come after you.
For all of that.
There's got to be a statute of limitations on that.
Is there a statute of limitations on driving illegally? I'm snitching on everybody.
So with the level of vision correction devices that you need, do you see many individuals really wanting to drive, or do you think that there's some work that they have to do, and not only being, comfortable driving with their assistive devices, but also like, I'm scared, I don't want to hurt someone. So they have to kind of process through and get the courage to be able to drive the car. So do you not only assessing whether they're fit to drive, but also are they capable emotionally and mentally to drive?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I would say it's something I am paying attention to and will talk about with that individual. I don't know that I have a assessment tool to see if somebody's emotionally ready to drive, although it's pretty evident once you get in the car.
Sure.
So and I'll talk more about what the actual evaluation looks like, but I do it all in the same session. So we'd do clinical and then get in the car during that first session, typically. And honestly, regardless of disability, that sometimes comes up.
Okay.
And some of it's personality,
sure.
I would say. I mean, I drove with a young man who had cerebral palsy, and he was so excited to drive, and we got in the car, and he was like, but I could really hurt somebody. Right, he was very conscientious about, this is a huge responsibility.
Right.
And then there's the other side of somebody who is coming to see me after being involved in a crash.
Right.
So there's more of the post-traumatic piece. And sometimes I do recommend that they also work with a psychologist or a counselor at the same time, because we can only go so far depending on what their emotional capacity is for that.
Because I can imagine, maybe someone, is recovering from an accident. They acquired a disability from that accident, and then they want to get back to life. But part of that, unfortunately, within our community is the bus system isn't the best for everyone. And so they want to drive. They want to be able to have that independence. And then they realize, maybe I don't. I'm not at that point yet. And so, having that understanding, maybe the first session, so then you can kind of build a plan with them, whatever that looks like, is a really good idea.
And I do training in addition to the evaluation. So certainly if anybody's requiring adaptive equipment, certainly with bioptics, there's a variety of reasons why I would see somebody multiple times, and that may be a piece of that.
Sure.
But it also makes me think of the reasons why people come. And sometimes it wasn't their idea to come see me. So, and I most commonly think of that of being a young adult with a disability, and it's the parents who are saying, and I will do a readiness to drive evaluation. So in that case, I would see somebody before they have a permit, just to help the family and that individual say, like, these are some baseline skills. These would probably be good things, even maturity-wise, to work on. Like, if it's somebody who is never left home alone, probably having them drive somewhere alone isn't a great idea either. But sometimes that's not obvious, I guess. And so we will do just the clinical portion for a readiness to drive evaluation. So I saw a young man once, and I get it. His mom was like, I want to give him every opportunity. I want him to be able to get a job in another city. I really want to give him this empowerment. And so they came for the driving, and when it was just he and I was like, so do you want to drive? He's like, not at all.
And
ultimately, I mean, I think he had a permit. I think we did do the behind the wheel portion. Ultimately, to me, that really is what it comes down to. If he is not at a point where confidence is a huge part of driving, and we can build that up. But if someone just does not want to go there, that's not my job to talk someone into learning to drive. And maybe down the road they will. Sometimes there's recommendations of get really good at navigating with the bus system, or call other means of transportation, and then down the road maybe driving will be something you want to look at.
Right. Yeah, I think that, with those companies like Uber and Lyft, where you now have access pretty much 24/7 to get a ride, then it could be, cost prohibitive if you don't have a lot of money. But But then if you have a vehicle, you're still paying for, well, hopefully car insurance,
Hopefully.
gas.
It is expensive to have a car.
It is.
Yes. And then if you have a car payment. So, really understanding your options and then being able to have those options and say, this is what I want is really important. And
Very.
so Daniel decides he wants to drive, goes to his ophthalmologist, and lo and behold, you now have better vision than you do now.
Okay.
And the doctor's
I'm with
like,
that.
let's see if you can drive. If you're really capable of doing it, I'm going to send a referral to Terri.
I'm going to take it and run.
Yeah, I know you will. And
Don't
so
look
he
back.
takes it and runs to Terri. What happens when you get that referral? What's the next step?
Okay, great. So we would schedule an appointment. Let's say you were coming and you have you ever driven before legally? Have you ever had a license, let's say?
Nope.
Okay.
So in order for us
kicked
to
out of
go,
driver's
you did. That sounds like a whole other story.
We had a back and forth about whether or not I was going to be capable of doing the class. I showed him.
Interesting.
Walked
You sure
right out,
did
right?
with that non-existent driver's
There
license.
we go. It's the clear
So,
version.
in order for me to get into the car, and we do use my vehicle, so someone doesn't have to have a car to come see us, but they do need a license or a permit.
Okay.
So unless I'm doing that readiness to drive evaluation where we're really determining should we move to the next step.
Sure.
Now, if it's a low vision situation, and the optometrist is all for it, we would probably go ahead and try to get that rehab permit before you come. So a rehabilitation permit is different than an instructional permit.
Okay.
And you have to be working with a certified driving rehabilitation specialist.
Okay.
Like
So
myself.
like you. Okay.
And so that's actually through the DMV. It's different paperwork. You have your doctor sign off on it, and then they mail the permit to me directly.
Oh, okay.
So you can only drive with the rehab instructor.
Okay.
Is kind of how that works. So that's
Okay,
a state
that
of
makes
Colorado
sense.
thing. Every state has different processes.
Okay.
So we would make sure that I have the permit in hand before your appointment. Then we would book. Generally, it's a 3-hour session.
Okay.
So the first hour and a half of that is in the clinic, where we're looking at vision for you in particular, but we're still looking at all the skills related to driving. So kind of regardless of the reason why somebody's coming to see me, we are going to screen for vision, strength, range of motion, sensation, reaction time, memory, cognition. I mean, it's a really thorough, just baseline evaluation.
Okay.
One thing that does is give me a lot of information about what to be looking out for when we go in the car. Like,
Sure.
have me kind of focus even how I want our route to go and things
Sure.
like that.
Sure.
On a very rare occasion, we will get that far and not go out in the car.
Okay.
Now, that's not so much the younger driver. That's more often somebody with moderate to severe dementia, where
Okay.
it's just not going
Like,
to be
it's
safe.
clear.
It's clearly not even going to be safe in an evaluation situation.
Okay.
So occasionally that may happen.
Okay.
Most of the time we will complete the clinical and talk about it. So I like to just, the whole reason someone's coming to see me is for education, is how I see it. And so I'm going to let people know this is how you did on the memory test. This is what the literature shows. If people are in this category, there's more reason for concern. Or you did great on all of these things that we kind of were concerned about, but you flew through all these tests. So just communicating that. And then we go out and drive. So we take our vehicle. We have a gas and brake on the passenger side of our vehicle.
Okay.
Pretty cool, pretty fancy.
Yeah,
It's
that is
pretty
actually
fancy.
really cool.
It's really important.
I wish I had that. In my mind, I'm a driver. I wish that I could press the gas and the brake.
There are sometimes
the
he's like,
passenger
"Do you want me to
side."
drive after podcasting?" And I'm like, "No."
You haven't given into that, Rebecca.
One day,
Oh.
she'll say yes.
Just might as well
Persistence.
keep asking. I
know.
agree.
Maybe if I find a really wide open space that you can drive in.
Like a library parking lot.
No, because there's pedestrians and children running to the library. I
was told that you get like 10 points for kids, 15 points for adults.
No.
No?
No.
Oh. That's not how it works.
No,
That's not the point scale.
That's a
It's
totally
also-
different game.
Yeah, and it's also you don't get points when you run a red.
They
and
said I would get points on my
Red and
driver's
yellow.
driving record.
you will. You'll
And I
actually
want
have
the
points
most
deducted.
I want the highest score.
No, you don't.
So Terri, so you have a brake and a gas pedal on the passenger side. Do these vehicles have like hand controls? Like some of our listeners may not even know what hand controls are.
Right.
Yes. So it's a Chrysler 300. So it's a regular car that has been adapted.
It's a baby Phantom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, those are nice cars.
Yeah, they are.
It
They
works
have
out
really
really
nice
well.
grills on the front.
Exactly.
Yes,
There you
I
go.
like yeah.
That's why I have it.
Oh, good. Yeah.
It also has a very adjustable seat, which is actually one of the
Nice.
reasons I have it.
We're not worried about safe gas.
Yeah, we don't
We
care
just
about
want to
people
make sure
seeing
it's
over the
pretty
steering
when we
wheel.
drive down the road. Yes.
You'll look good in the car. I promise. You'll look good in the car. So I do have quite a bit, of adaptive equipment
Okay.
that I can put into the car.
Nice.
So
Just cough right into
Yeah,
it.
it's
It might-
okay.
It's fine. We'll make Keegan will take care of it.
Yeah.
So the hand controls are basically for somebody who's not able to use their feet to access gas and brake. So there's a lever that comes off the steering column, and it would just be one lever typically, and you press it forward for brake. You're using typically your left hand.
Okay.
And then there's some different styles, but you're going to press it down or rock back toward you for gas.
Oh.
And that can be mounted on the left or on the right, depending on hand dominance, range of motion, strength,
Okay.
things like that.
Pretty cool.
That
So
is
that's
pretty
one
cool.
option
I
that I
actually have never
have.
ridden in a vehicle.
You want to?
Yeah.
I can make that happen for
Okay.
you.
I totally
pretty
have to see
cool.
this.
She goes fast.
It's pretty cool.
Really? Bring it on. I drive fast too.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably not something I should be broadcasting, but still.
If you lose your license, I'll find it for you.
I'm sure you will. You got connections.
So the hand controls are one option that I'm actually seeing a lot more people coming to see me to learn to use hand controls, not necessarily because they can't move their legs, but because their sensation is decreased.
So maybe like diabetes.
Yeah.
With
Neuropathy,
the
and honestly, I'm seeing a lot of neuropathy for unknown reasons. I guess some of
Really?
it's a hereditary neuropathy, some is
Okay.
diabetes related, maybe radiation related. You know, there's a
Right.
lot of different reasons.
Okay.
And this is more in the older population.
Okay.
But I have people who call and say, I can move my foot, but I don't really trust it. Like,
See?
I'm not exactly sure which pedal
Makes
it's on.
sense.
Which is a big thing for someone to admit that. So I appreciate
Right,
that.
right.
pretty
And
important.
Yeah.
and hand controls just let you be like, oh, yes, this is what
I
it
feel
is.
like I
I
have more
actually know
control.
what,
Yeah.
like, I have the confidence that I'm moving the car in the way that I mean to be.
That's really cool.
So that's a pretty cool
You
one.
can actually use You should use the hand controls.
You guys should
We
come
can make that
by.
happen.
All right.
Oh,
We're gonna
You
have to
could come.
Then we could video it.
Yes.
She could totally try to get you behind the wheel.
Just can't leave the parking lot.
You don't have to pull my leg. I can make that happen.
I will totally
I'm the
try it
master of
out.
driving in parking lots. Now I got that down.
Oh, boy.
I can parallel park
It still
as long as
scares
there's no
me.
other cars.
See, that's not really like parallel
What are you
parking.
parallel parking around?
He's like, I can do a 3-point turn.
I
can do
have no desire
a
to parallel
12-point
park.
turn.
I will circle around the block if I have to parallel, because for me I only have one eye, and so I see out of my left eye, and you have to parallel generally on your right side, and so I have a very difficult time trying to navigate a parallel parking. And my vehicles have backup cameras for a reason, because it's easier for me to use the backup camera and be safe when I back
yeah.
up. And so, unfortunately, I was a victim of a hit and run a couple of weeks ago, and so I'm driving my sister's truck that has none of the bells and whistles. It barely has a turn signal.
Oh, no.
And so I'm like, I'm gonna have to like bring in these skills that I had learned but haven't used for a very long
It
time.
makes a difference.
And so now I'm like, I have to turn around and check out where I'm going and use all of my mirrors. And then my dad, when I first started driving, got those little magnifying circular mirrors that you can put on the side of those, side of your side mirrors. So it like, increases the visibility.
Reduces your blind spot.
Yeah. And so he's like, you're going to have all the mirrors you possibly can. Well, then now they're distracting, because then I have passengers who are not using the mirrors for my driving. They're using them to check out their makeup before we go out.
Sometimes you got to do that.
when you're parked.
Priorities.
Exactly. So I'm like, I need that mirror. Stop it.
Hold on, just
I love that
one
you
more
brought that
second.
up. I mean, just in the topic of technology, I think there are some really interesting things. Not automated vehicles, but technology we're actually using now.
Right.
But I often do talk to individuals about extra mirrors sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think there's a great place for them, but they can be distracting, especially you can get an extra wide rear view mirror.
Yes.
Which sometimes is really helpful, but it's also more visual information. So there is a trade-off of like...
And now you're like
is this
really
too
distracted
much?
by all of this.
Right.
This
I'm seeing
visual
every
noise.
car, and that's not good.
I know.
Makes sense.
But I do like the backup camera.
I love my
The,
backup camera. Go out there and clean it every day.
You have, which is important. They have cars that'll parallel park for you.
I know.
I've never actually done that.
I have
would like
control
to.
issues, so I would not.
What?
I've let it park.
Control issues?
Hey.
Oh.
So, yes, I will happily admit that I do not want a car driving for me.
It's
an
interesting
I have no
one.
problem with people driving me around. Like, sure, you can drive me around, not you. But
I was
other
going to say, it
people-
doesn't matter which person.
Yeah, not Daniel.
Discrimination.
And I'm fine. I'm like, yeah, I would happily let you drive me around. However, if I have control of a vehicle and they're like, yeah, we're going to parallel for you, and I'm like, no.
Maybe till you try it. You never know. You're not going very fast.
They say if you,
Hopefully.
if you bump something, just start over. Read this.
That's what bumpers are for, is what I've heard, right? That's
They're
not on
made
the
for that.
evaluation, though. Don't do that during a driving evaluation.
I was like, is that a question that
Okay,
you
so
asked?
we will say, people often ask, do I have to parallel park as part of the driving evaluation?
Right.
And the answer is no.
Whew.
And the other interesting thing to me is at the Colorado State DMV test, you do not have to parallel
Yeah,
park.
I
Some
had
states
some
you do.
anxiety about it. I thought that when I first got my my permit, I was really nervous about it. So I practiced and I got really good at it.
Just good.
And my parents' anxiety slowly went down when they taught me how to drive. But yeah, no, I struggle with parallel parking, and I will literally circle parking lots and circle.
You're not alone
blocks.
in that.
Yeah.
We should have a parallel parking contest.
Oh, there we go.
Me
Really?
and you. But you got to do it
I was
blindfolded.
going to say, somebody blindfolded here.
I'm already doing it half blind.
Right, and I'm doing it half as good as you.
What is it that we kind of with your vision and my vision, we almost make a full set of eyes.
Oh, I don't know. My vision's pretty bad. I'm bringing down the average.
So, what, 3/4?
Maybe on a bell curve we would make it.
Okay. Yeah. So once you get them through the driving process, so that you go out a couple of times with a really cool slick car and they practice, do they go take their driving test at the DMV, or do you
Yes.
administer that?
I do not administer the DMV test. So if someone's coming to me with a rehabilitation permit, then after we finish, and so usually with a rehab permit, it's because of equipment.
Okay.
And that's part of the reason they wouldn't drive with their parents, for example, because their parents don't have hand controls in their car, or whatever the case may be. So it depends. If it's somebody who had a license previously, now has a rehab permit after this injury, and is confident with driving, they're just learning the hand controls process, that might be 2 to 3 training sessions.
Okay.
And then they would have the equipment installed in their vehicle. I would do 1 training session in their vehicle.
Okay.
Kind of a final fitting of the equipment, make sure everything is the way we
Working
wanted
and
it,
they're
and then
comfortable.
do a driving session in their vehicle. After that, they would go just schedule the eval, take the test, and get their license.
Okay.
That's pretty
Occasionally, if it's somebody who is a new driver, we go through all the equipment piece, and obviously they need to have the background of rules of the road in order just to do the training with the equipment.
Sure.
But they can go to the DMV and change that rehab permit into an instructional permit.
Oh, okay.
So then they can still continue to drive with a parent for the 50 hours required, or the different, depending on age.
Sure.
So it could go either way.
Okay.
I do see individuals who don't need to get a rehab permit. So, for example, I see somebody after they've had a stroke, they are physically able to operate the vehicle. The concern maybe is more vision or attention or some sort of cognitive processing speed, something along those lines. They would come see me on their regular license. I would send my results to their referring doctor. and they would continue to drive on their license.
Sure.
So they never got rid of their license in the
Sure.
meantime. They just probably weren't driving for a while.
Okay.
You ever get any people that are like upset with you because they're not capable of driving, and they're like, "No,
I think I can."
right?
And
Like,
you're
I know I could drive. You just don't like me, or something like that. Does
or
it ever happen?
Your test is
does
biased or
happen.
whatever.
Right.
It does
Right,
happen.
right.
Yeah.
And usually, again, it's usually that population that their disability at this point is that they don't have insight into their deficit.
Gotcha.
They just don't know
So,
Yeah.
you know, and I like to tell people I'm really coming from a rehab perspective. Like, my goal, if we can find a safe way for you to get back to driving, that's where I'm headed. That's my goal.
Sure.
So it's often individuals who have dementia is honestly the ones who we drive and we say, and this is a very delicate conversation.
Sure.
And often the family is there with us as well, not in the car, but afterwards for that discussion.
Right.
And it's been actually really interesting to see the varied responses to that
Sure.
message. You know, the message is usually around, I have a lot of concerns about your driving, and I think it's time for you to stop driving.
Sure.
And then we'll go into why, and there's a lot of evidence for why usually,
Right.
or always. But some people are just really sad. Some people are like, yeah, that's what I thought you'd say. Some people are saying, I don't care what you say. I'm
Daniel.
still going to drive. Some
figure
people
it
just
out.
storm off. So we see
Okay.
the range of emotion. And honestly, that's something we talk about, though, of a reason to come to us
Sure.
is because it is a pretty volatile topic.
Yeah.
And we're okay with somebody being angry about the decision. I mean, that we're there for the safety of the community and of these individuals, that person themselves. They can leave with their family member, and hopefully, if it's anger, keep it directed at us and not at their family member.
Sure.
So there's a benefit in that as well. And it's just everybody's different on how they handle the news. But I would say we put a lot of effort into how we handle that discussion as well.
That makes
That's
sense.
nice.
And there are individuals who come who don't have dementia, and the decision is, I think that you will be able to drive, but not yet.
Okay.
I would say stroke is maybe the most common
Okay.
time that we see that happen, and sometimes it is actually a visual deficit, maybe a neglect or a visual field cut or something related to really feel like you need to work on visual scanning more, perhaps with outpatient therapy, give some resources on how to do that. And sometimes it's just too soon, and
makes
so
sense.
just cognitive recovery in terms of paying attention to the entire driving situation and making those quick decisions.
Sure.
We see potential for that, but we're not there yet.
Gotcha.
That makes
How
sense.
soon after someone encounters a stroke are you willing to work with them? I'm asking because Social Security, we can't even apply for benefits for someone until 3 months after the stroke in order to see the amount of time they had to recover. So do you have a time limit to where you will or won't work with someone that
That's
may
a
have
great question.
encountered a stroke?
I don't have a set time limit. I do have like I said, a bit of a screening process with the doctor referral.
Sure.
So I will often talk to the individual or family and ask, have they finished outpatient therapy? PTOT speech. Are they
Gotcha.
still working with therapy? And they don't need to have completed all of their therapies, but I think of driving as one of the most complex instrumental activities of daily living that this person's going to
Right.
get back to. So we want you at your best,
Right.
recovery-wise, before we're really making this important decision about
Sure.
driving. So I have seen people as early as a month. And it does depend on, was it a TIA and their symptoms resolved quickly, and
Right.
or was it something where they were in the hospital for 6 months? So that plays into it.
Really understanding.
But I have found that most of the time in this community, people are referred to me at a really good time when they're ready. And, some of that's probably physician. I know some of the rehab doctors, the patient will call me and say, I really want to get back to driving. I'll talk about the referral. And the doctor will say, I want to see you in 3 months, and then we'll talk about driving. So there
Sure.
is some other kind of
Right.
influences of when people come,
That makes
which
sense.
I think is helpful. I have sometimes seen somebody after a brain injury, 3 weeks after injury.
Okay.
And we've done the first half of the eval, and I've said, let's wait a month before we do the behind the wheel. Because this is where you are now on your scores. You were a very high-functioning individual before this. Even though your scores aren't terrible, I think they're going to get better.
Right.
So there's a lot of clinical judgment with all of it.
Okay.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. I guess it really is. It's really helpful to kind of understand that it's not just someone making a decision
Right.
on their own. There's more like a team that's really giving them some guidance and listening to them and talking to them instead of, all right, you're ready to drive. Let's send you to Terri and see if you really can or not. It's really a conversation.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I
much
do
better
think of
than
it
the
that way.
alternative.
Yeah.
Of like, and I think that's where the OT background comes into, is really individualizing what we're doing, what we're looking at to this client and their particular situation.
Right.
So for most people I see, they're not driving to Denver for work every day. You know, so driving means different things to different people. And so what I'm looking at is what is your need for driving? What is your capacity for fulfilling that, let's say?
Right.
And it is very much individualized.
Yeah.
As opposed to the basic operator skills test at the DMV,
Right.
for example. You know, and that's made that way for a reason, but it's really looking at basic skills.
Right.
It's a 10-minute on-road evaluation, pass, fail. So sometimes people say, well, why should I go to your program? Can't I just take the test at the DMV? And it's perhaps you can, but
Right.
they're completely different things we're
Right.
talking about.
Right. And that makes sense. Nice. All your questions answered?
I'm thinking of ways that I can get in.
I could tell because I was like,
My brain is-
he's processing some questions now of how he's going to do this.
I'm trying to figure out where's the loophole. There's not one.
I'm thinking no for you.
No?
No.
Can I mention one other adaptive equipment?
Yeah, definitely.
Aspect, because I mentioned the hand controls.
Yeah.
And with hand controls, you really need to be using both arms.
Yeah.
So in terms of like hand dexterity, not essential. So somebody with a high level spinal cord injury can still drive because they can use devices for steering. So you don't need to have grasp, let's say.
Sure.
But you do need to steer with one hand and do gas and brake with the other in some respect.
Okay.
I see a lot of people after a stroke, as I mentioned, and oftentimes after a stroke, somebody has weakness, numbness, paralysis on one side of their body.
Uh-huh.
And so in that case, hand controls usually are not appropriate.
Gotcha.
But there are a lot of things we can do. So easiest is if the deficit is on the left, because on the right foot and right hand are still able to be used for driving.
Okay.
The main thing, equipment-wise, would be some way for them to access the turn signal, because that's usually done with the left hand. So I drive with individuals who aren't able to use their left hand at all, and so we find ways. There's high-tech and low-tech ways to access turn signal using your right hand. And then the other piece of equipment that, if the opposite is true, so if there's weakness on the right, we can put in what's called a left foot accelerator, and it basically moves the gas pedal from the right side of the brake to the left side of the brake.
Oh.
And so someone's using their left foot to do gas and brake.
Nice.
Oh,
Which
that's
is
really
kind
cool.
of an interesting one.
Yeah,
And
that is.
there are options, and that's what it comes down to, again, of why it matters to know what's going on with that person before we get in the car.
Right.
Sure.
To really have an idea of what might work.
Sure.
I'm sure that you have a good amount of individuals coming to you not knowing how they're going to be able to drive again, and feeling like, I just had this stroke. I can't even use my left side. I'm not going to be able to drive,
Right.
because they don't even know that there is
There's an option.
an option or
Yeah.
an
True.
accessible option.
Yeah.
Or what they know is based on YouTube.
Right.
Because that's a lot of our
Well, yeah, you gotta love that.
diagnosing and there's some really cool things out there in terms of adaptive equipment for driving. But then yes, sometimes people come and say, "Oh, I want that one." Like that particular tool. I was like,
That's
"Well, that
that's the
one's
toy I
3 times
want."
more expensive
Yeah.
than
Right.
this other option." And
Right.
maybe you don't need
How
that.
about you try the cheaper option before you get the super duper maxed extra
Right.
bells and whistles option?
And I do feel like I should mention too that there's a lot of really cutting edge technology out there for getting people back to driving.
Nice.
I don't have all of that at our clinic here.
Sure,
So some constraints. currently with my current vehicle, if somebody needed to drive from their wheelchair, like if they are not able to transfer out of their chair into the seat of my car, I would need to send that. I would need to refer them to a different program. So I have capacity for what's called low-tech equipment. So the hand controls are still considered low-tech, but you do need to be able to get into the passenger seat. And we can help. You can bring a caregiver who can help. Right. I mean, we can make that work and still have somebody plan on driving from their chair potentially in their vehicle.
Sure.
But for the evaluation, we need that.
That makes sense.
And then there's high-tech equipment, which is pretty incredible, where you're not using the steering wheel that came with the car. You know, you can be doing the whole thing with one arm, gas, brake, and steering. I mean, there's some really, really cool stuff. And so I always feel like if somebody has a physical disability and money, I have to mention, those things get very expensive. So a funding source, almost regardless of the physical disability, there's a way to get back to driving.
Gotcha. That's
vision is in another category. Cognition is in another category, and those are more difficult.
Right.
But if it's, I mean, there's people who have all 4 limbs amputated, and there's some way for them to drive. So it's really fascinating. Yeah. But I don't have the equipment to do that in Colorado Springs.
There's a wide range. There is. Of course, everything is on a spectrum, and we know that. So, you know, there's the super high tech, and then there's the low tech, and where you fall on the spectrum and what assistive devices will work for you is really important to know.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
What about a motorcycle? Could I do a motorcycle?
No. Just stop asking.
Man, you're persistent, like you said.
Yes, he is.
A bicycle.
I was going to say, there are some cool
motorcycle
three-wheel.
Yeah.
An e-bike.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could probably do an e-bike if you're in the back seat. You know. The tandem ones, and you're in the back.
No, I can drive an e-bike legally, right?
No.
No?
No.
Why not? I can see in front of me. I just can't see, like, further away. I can see a car.
That's right.
Hopefully there's no cars on the bike path.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, in Colorado, sometimes that happens.
Well, maybe you should make an appointment and talk to Terry.
I think that's what I'm going to do.
All right, then.
How can I contact you, Terri?
Absolutely. So, my phone, I'll just give you guys my phone number.
Sure.
First up is 719-231-6657. The company is Health Promotion Partners. So if you search Health Promotion Partners or healthpromotionpartners.com is our website.
Nice.
For the Fitness to Drive program is listed on there.
Cool.
And there's actually quite a bit of resources on the website to get you started.
Sweet.
Nice.
And you also have a podcast. What is that?
I do have a podcast. It is Engaging Mobility.
Nice.
And the topic is really transportation, and that is geared toward aging. So
very cool.
Talking to researchers, people in kind of the nationwide community, really looking at solutions for transportation.
Sure.
Nice.
Well, we'll make sure we get all those links in our podcast description.
Yes.
So you can get a hold of Terri when you're ready to start to drive, and maybe we'll take some pictures of us coming to visit.
Come for a field trip. I'm so excited.
We will totally field trip it.
I just want to drive the Chrysler 300. So is the Chrysler 300, that's the driving car?
That's the driving car.
Yeah,
We're totally in there. Okay.
Can I catch a ride?
I thought you could drive.
Hey,
I thought you were
look.
comfortable driving.
Hey, man. Not in front of Terri. Not in front of Terri.
So if we do this, we can actually post the pictures, and we'll post those on our podcast.
That would be really fun.
Yeah. We'll
I could
see.
do the cone test.
Really?
Like on the commercial where you weave in and out of cones.
Slowly?
The
closed track driving at 80
Not the one up
miles an
Pikes
hour.
Peak.
Yeah.
Really?
Up a peak, yeah.
Oh, no. Never thought about that. We can do that, too.
Anyway, so back to trying to close this sucker.
Yes.
Come on now.
All right.
I'll close it, and you can just sit there again
Thank
and
you.
look pretty.
Bling, bling, bling. That was my smile.
Anyway, so if you like our podcast, please like and share it. And also give us a comment or two, preferably
Subscribe.
about if we should have Daniel drive or not. Oh. And
Yeah, that'll be a discussion.
I know it will.
Whoa.
Yes, all the things we'll get, all the great topics. Yeah, let's see it. We want
Everyone
a video.
will say yes.
Yeah. You can find us on Podomatic. Just search Real Empowerment.
Yes.
YouTube, search Independent Center and then Real Empowerment.
Yes.
And then on Spotify, you can find us Real Empowerment. And come down and see us. You can come see us at our building, 729 South Tejon in Colorado Springs. And then our website, www.
Ooh, 3 W's.
Yes, theindependencenter.org.
Yes.
Because you are constantly telling me I don't use enough W's.
Yeah, you should listen to the. You definitely only use 2. Most of the time. It's just more comfortable.
Yes.
I get it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, people know World Wide Web.
Yeah.
We shouldn't even have to say that anymore.
Yeah, I never do.
Thank you, Terri, for coming and talking to us.
Thank you for having me.
I hope we were
Thank
somewhat
you so much.
entertaining.
Absolutely.
I'm Rebecca Michael.
I am Daniel Ratcliffe.
Thank you so much.